Hi guys, so today we're going to learn how to tack and jibe our boats. So the objective for today is to consistently tack and jibe, performing the correct actions to complete each turn right every time. So basically, when tacking and jibing occurs when we turn our boats. So since we know our points of sail, we know that going directly upwind will make our boat will not make our boat move, and it will stay in the exact same position. So in order to get upwind, we have to sail a zigzag pattern to end up going anywhere, to fill our sails with air and propel the boat forward. So, as you can see here, I've drawn what it would look like to tack and what it would look like to jibe. The difference between tacking and jibing is when you tack, your bow crosses through the wind and onto the new side of the tack. And when you're jibing, your stern crosses through the wind and onto the new side of the jibe. You primarily are upwind when you're tacking and downwind when you're jibing. Other than to get where we're going, what is another reason that you may tack? Amy.
To avoid something in the water?
Yeah, good job. Anybody else? Griffin.
To go hang out with your friends?
Not quite. We don't want to tack just to go hang out with our friends. But we may want to tack if we're in a patch of light air and we want to get to a new location with heavier air, or if you're on a lull and you want to get to a lift on a different tack. That's probably the main reasons why we would tack or jibe. So now I'm going to show you a video of what it looks like to tack and what it looks like to jibe. So here's a video on how to properly tack. Next, we're going to look at a video how to properly jibe your boats. So now what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the steps to tacking and the steps to jibing. Does anyone know what the first step might be? Griffin.
Push the tiller towards you?
No, our first step would be to tell your crew, as the skipper, when you're going to tack. We always want to let our skipper or our crew know when we're going to tack because it allows them to prepare for it and avoid any confusion that may go into tacking. Does anybody know what the next step might be?
Head your boat up to close hauled and then keeping heading up to go through irons.
Almost. What you're going to want to do is if your boat isn't already on a close hauled course, you're going to want to head it up into a close hauled course, adjusting your sails to that course, and then your skipper will push the tiller away from you as your boat passes through irons and on to the next tack. While you're doing this, your crew is going to want to uncleat the jib so that it'll also pass through the wind, luffing, and onto the new side of the tack where you're going to readjust your sails once again. So I kind of covered that in step 3 as well. And so what do we need to be careful of when we are in the motion of going through irons onto the new tack? Griffin.
Our heads.
Yes. So our sails are going to come onto the other side, so we need to watch our heads for the boom crossing the center of the boat because we don't want anybody to get hit in the head and hurt. So after we've come across to the new side of the tack, what do we need to do immediately after? Amy.
Fix the sails and make sure the tiller is straightened?
Yeah. So our skipper is going to straighten out the tiller so that we don't oversteer too much and we can continue on another close hauled course once we get out of the tack. Both the skipper and the crew are going to adjust their sails so that they're sheeted in and no longer luffing through the tack. Skipper, like I said, you're going to want to watch out for oversteering because we don't want to end up on a lower course than we were meant to be. And both, we want to make sure we always sheet in our sails at the exact same time. You want your crew sheeting in your jib so that it'll help bear your boat off instead of getting stuck into irons after your tack because you don't want to tack and then be unable to move. And what is our last step?
A flat boat is a fast boat.
Exactly. After switching sides onto the new side after your tack, you're going to want to make sure that you settle down and are seated flat and your boat is flat so that you can keep going forward because a flat boat is a fast boat. The next we're going to go over are these steps to a jibe. So the motions are pretty much the same thing, but there's a few things that are going to be different between jibing than they are with tacking. So what is the first thing we always do?
Let your crew know what you're doing.
Yeah, you want to prepare for the jibe, and skippers are going to tell your crew, get ready for jibing. So, unlike with tacking, skippers are going to do a little bit of a different motion. Does anybody know what that is? No? Okay. So instead of pushing your tiller away from you, for jibing, you're going to pull it towards you. And like we did with our tack, what are we going to do?
Oh, watch your heads.
Yeah, the boom is going to swing across once again, and you're going to have to watch your heads to not get hit. What can the crew do with a jibe that will help the boom not swing quite so fast? All right. Since nobody knows, crews, you're going to grab onto what and help guide, and it'll help guide your boom across.
The boom vang?
Exactly. So crews are going to grab onto the boom vang, and while the boom is coming across the center of your boat, you are going to help guide it through that so that the boom doesn't swing too fast and you don't lose control of the boat. After your boom has come across onto the new jibe, what might you want to do? We're on a new course. When you're always on a new course, what do you think you should do?
Move their body weight at the same time?
Well, you're going to move your body weight through the jibe, but once you're onto the new jibe, you want to adjust your body weight so that it's flat and fast, and then you also want to make sure that your sails are on the right course, so you don't have it too sheeted in or too let out, and you're sailing a direct course. The one thing about the jibe that we need to note is that since you're going from one full sail to another, instead of having that period of your sails luffing in the middle, like you do with tacking, the boom is actually going to swing across quite a bit faster than it would on a tack. So be careful, make sure you have the crew controlling your jibe, and watch your heads when this does come across. Also, making sure you watch your body weight so that you adjust to it may be a little bit rocky, so adjust to that and you will be all good. So we want to watch the two videos we watched earlier once more, and we're going to look at them and see what we liked about the tack and what we liked about the jibe and what we may have disliked. Okay, here is the video of tacking. Okay, in this video, did we see anything that we liked? Griffin.
They move their body weight actually at the same time.
Good. That would be definitely a good thing to do when you're tacking. Anything else? Amy.
They keep the boat flat?
Yes. They kept their boat relatively flat throughout the whole tack. Does anyone have anything else they may have seen that they liked? No? Okay. Well, they actually moved, they sheeted in quickly and had the mainsail and the jib coming in at the same time when they went through the tack. The skipper also didn't oversteer too much because we know that's not a good thing. So their boat was able to go into the tack, through the tack, and come out of the tack, maintaining quite a bit of boat speed. Okay, so now we're going to watch the video on jibing. Now we're on to the video about jibing. Okay, did anybody see anything that they may have changed through this jibe that didn't quite follow our steps? Griffin.
The crew didn't grab the boom vang to help control the jibe.
You're right. So the crew in this boat didn't actually grab the boom vang and control the jibe, and if you would notice, the boom was kind of waving around a little bit. That creates a little bit more of a rocky jibe, and it may be a little bit uneasy for new sailors. So that's definitely one thing you want to remember when you're jibing. Did we see anything that we did like?
They don't go from one side to one side. Their angles are real low.
Exactly. When we're jibing, we don't need to make as wide angles as we would when we're tacking, since we aren't passing through irons onto a new close-hauled course. With jibing, you may be passing through, you can pass through a lot smaller courses so that your angles don't need to be as wide and the boat isn't as rocky and unstable. So definitely they kept their angles very low, and it benefited them when they came out of the jibe. Yeah, that's it. So after we've seen videos of how to jibe and how to tack, gone through the steps, then re-seen them in action, we are going to go out and try our new tacking and jibing skills. Remember, our objective today was to consistently tack and jibe, performing the correct actions to complete each turn right every time. So I want you guys to go out and try your jibing out, practice it a little bit, practice your tacking, and get a handle on our objective and what we want to do today. Thank you.